Not surprisingly, sports cars are the most likely vehicles to put your life in jeopardy. In fact, you're twice as likely to get into a fatal accident while traveling in a sports car. As a result, when you shop for a sports car, there are many types that you should avoid at all costs. This is especially true if you want to have a pleasant driving experience, not to mention huge repair and maintenance bills, and other disappointments that come along with owning a desirable yet extremely unreliable, fatally flawed sports car. One way to shorten your list of options is to understand which sports cars to avoid. Luckily for you, you clicked on this video, because today you're going to learn about the 10 deadliest sports cars in 2021. The Aston Martin 177. Limited to 77 units worldwide, and sporting a carbon monarchy chassis, a 3.7-liter V12 with at least 700 horsepower, and a hand-formed aluminum body. The near $2 million 177 is what happens when an automaker builds a car without ever saying no to its engineers. The 177 is a cutting-edge racing-inspired supercar underneath. It's super high-tech, beautifully finished everywhere, and boasts impressive performance figures. Yet the Aston Martin 177 can prove to be deadly. The only problem with it is that it's way too fast. With over 750 horsepower, this stylish supercar is the definition of beast mode. Although this may sound appealing, this supercar is very dangerous. Coupled with the car's light weight, trying to control that amount of power on regular roads is nearly impossible, increasing the chances of a fatal accident by 10,000%. The Lamborghini Countach. Many people dream of sliding behind the wheel of a Lamborghini, but those who own a Countach need to be careful. This vehicle has an ultra-low profile that makes it hard to see vehicles that are right next to you, increasing your blind spots by 10,000%. Also, the controls are heavy, so you'll need to pay attention to every action you take in this high-powered exotic sports car. Once you get used to it though, you can expect an unrivaled driving experience. The Chevy Camaro. The Chevy Camaro has been a staple in the American sports car community, but unfortunately it's one of the deadliest sports cars on the road. Its first fatal flaw is premature timing chain wear. This defect is caused by a faulty oil life monitor, resulting in extended oil life exchange, which causes an engine check light, engine damage, total engine failure occurring at high speeds, and an expensive $2,000 repair. The 2020 Camaro is also infamously known for blown head gaskets. A head gasket prevents engine oil, engine coolant, and combustion gases from escaping the engine. The Chevy Camaro's head gasket often fails for a number of reasons, none of them good. Engine overheating is the most popular culprit. The Camaro's third fatal flaw is perhaps one of the most deadly flaws of the Camaro, and that's its long history of passenger airbag failure. In 2016, Camaro owners faced a class action lawsuit against General Motors, alleging that defects in the Camaro caused passenger airbag system failure. The lawsuit claimed that Camaro owners experienced airbag warning lights turning on and off when an occupant was in the passenger seat, something that would cause the passenger airbags to fail in a crash. The problems can occur at any time, at any speed while driving, leaving the passenger unprotected. The Ferrari 458 Italia. One of the longest running stereotypes in the automotive world is that Italian supercars always catch on fire. While that may be an exaggeration that has dogged the builders of dream cars for decades, the Ferrari 458 Italia did actually have a penchant for spontaneously catching on fire, more than just about any other car in the world at the time. In 2012, Ferrari recalled over 12,000 cars, because an adhesive used to hold the car's inner fenders in place turned out to be highly flammable, and was placed way too close to the exhaust. The fix was simple. The inner fenders were riveted on, but the damage was done. 3 years after the recall, jokes about flaming Ferraris have only gotten worse. The McLaren Senna. McLaren's engineers claim that the Senna is the most direct and responsive car that they've ever built. Unfortunately, those individuals are sadly mistaken, because the Senna is one of the deadliest supercars on the market. For starters, the car's twin-turbocharged 4-liter V8 that generates 789 horsepower has a habit of failing and exploding at high speeds. The first incident occurred in December of 2018, when car influencer Salamandrin Senna caught on fire. Another Senna exploded during the 2019 Austrian Grand Prix. According to internal documents, elements, a portion of the supercar's internal wiring harness can come in contact with the metal pipe heat shield. Over time, this can chafe the harness and expose the wires inside. Depending on which wire is damaged, there could be different results, all of them potentially fatal for the driver. Potential issues include the car suddenly entering limp mode, engine torque failure, engine stalling, engine misfires, and unburnt fuel entering the catalytic converter, causing the car to spontaneously catch fire and explode into flames, destroying your $1 million supercar in an instant. The Porsche 911. After 51 legendary years in production, the Porsche 911 is considered to be one of the greatest sports cars in the world. But to paraphrase the old cliche, Porsche took a bad idea and refined it to brilliance. Not only is the 911's engine in the back of the car, it's so far behind the rear axle that even the slightest miscalculation can cause dangerous oversteer, sending you hurtling backwards into oncoming traffic. Porsche engineers first tried to solve the car's weight imbalance by putting iron weights in the front bumpers of early cars. By the early 70s, the 911's iconic whale-tail spoiler and front air dam did wonders to keep the car planted to the ground. Today, a fantastic all-wheel drive system and traction control have ironed out most of the modern 911's homicidal urges. But while the older cars are definitely good-looking, they are undeniably dangerous as well. The Mercedes-Benz SL series. Introduced in 2001, the Mercedes SL Roadster was the epitome of a German GT car. It was powered by various V6s, several V8 engines, and a 5.5-liter V12 in the SL600 version. The car also looks great and has the performance to match, and to top it all off, it's even well built. Well, sort of. In the SLS model, the car's gull-wing doors have a 95% probability of sending you to an early grave. Safety is the biggest issue with the car's gull-wing door design. In a rollover crash, getting the gull-wing doors to open could be a little rough, or most likely impossible. Mercedes designed the doors on the SLS with explosive bolts that will fire the door off its hinges if the car is upside down, but no solution is quite as elegant as just not having gull-wing doors. The DeLorean DMC-12. I'm pretty sure you're wondering, why is this car on this list? It's old as hell and definitely isn't that relevant, besides the fact that it was the Back to the Future car. The DeLorean DMC-12 may have earned its place as one of the most iconic sports cars of the 1980s, but the car was also very unreliable, often breaking down before 10,000 miles, and it was also extremely unsafe. When John DeLorean left General Motors in the early 1970s to build a safety sports car, we hope that the DeLorean wasn't what he had in mind. Stainless steel body panels mounted to a fiberglass frame didn't do the car any favors in crash tests. After a 50-mile-per-hour impact, the car looked like a crushed can. The car's famous gull-wing doors didn't help either. In addition, having the doors hinged at the roof and opening vertically posed for a very dangerous situation in the case that passengers needed to escape after a crash. Due to the terribly built structure of the car, production only lasted 2 years. The Audi TT. The Audi TT had a lot of problems when it was first released. For starters, TTs were plagued by snap oversteer problems. After entering a high-speed corner and letting off the throttle, the car would slide out of control. This problem was so bad that Audi recalled the model for suspension readjustment and a new rear spoiler for more downforce. But that wasn't the end of the TT's issues. The V6 had timing chain problems that could destroy the motor, and the dual-clutch transmission's computer was prone to failure. The Nissan 370Z. While the Nissan 350Z had a good reputation, its successor, the 370Z, was notoriously troublesome. Equipped with a 3.7-liter V6 with more than 300 horsepower transmitted to the rear wheels, the 370Z seemed like a great performer. Instead, it had numerous fatal flaws. The early 2009 and 2010 models suffered from a faulty steering lock column that left countless drivers stranded. Luckily, Nissan recalled some of the faulty models, but there are plenty on the road that didn't get fixed. The Alfa Romeo Giulia. Alfa Romeo has always received a ton of flack compared to other Italian car manufacturers, but all the negative feedback from the Giulia has been wholeheartedly earned. Shortly after surpassing 1,500 miles on many of these tiny cars, things begin to go haywire. Owners have shared stories of lightly cruising down the road when out of nowhere the motor deteriorates. The engine starts making odd noises, and in some cases it full-on stalls. As any renowned auto riders and TV personalities have stated in the past, Alfas are great cars, until they hit 20,000 miles. They could be great daily drivers, only if they had the reliability that the mainstream European cars have. We wouldn't put our money on Alfa, but the Giulia is probably one of the worst of them all. The Porsche Boxster. The Boxster is one of the most hated in the Porsche family, particularly due to its mechanical faults. Porsche is becoming more and more notorious for creating vehicles that will never last for a premium price, but the Boxster takes the cake for being extremely unreliable. Several articles are devoted entirely to the cons of purchasing a Boxster that's guaranteed to experience some engine troubles down the road. Previous and current owners alike have also claimed that the Boxster eats through the brakes and tires, and inexperienced mechanics have a difficult time pinpointing what exactly is going wrong with these oddball coupes. In other words, if you're looking for something that's headache-free, then the Boxster isn't your friend. The Ford Focus RS. The Ford Focus is a very popular vehicle in North America. The car first hit the assembly line in 1998 and mainly targeted the European market. Ford has always had an issue with reliability, and the Focus magnifies that weakness. A lot of owners have complained about the fact that they have to replace the clutch from time to time. There's also an issue of lag when shifting the gears, which can become cumbersome in the long run. The Ford Mustang. Although the Ford Mustang is one of the most popular sports cars of all time, its fatal flaws are numerous, and it made it to the top of our list of the deadliest sports cars in 2021. The Mustang's first fatal flaw is its malfunctioning electronic stability control system. The Mustang's electronic stability control system has a nasty habit of not staying on when you want it to. When you turn off the Mustang's electronic stability control system, it can automatically reactivate itself unexpectedly, depending on the car's speed and its angle when drifting. This unexpected reactivation can be a huge problem when trying to show off at Cars and Coffee. When peeling out of a car show at high speeds, reactivation of electronic stability control causes the car's computer to think that the driver is losing control of the car. To correct this, the system will suddenly hit the brakes or cut the power to the engine, sending its drivers to an unplanned destination. The Mustang's next fatal flaw is its solid rear axle suspension, which was one of the deadliest engineering mistakes ever made. The major problem with the Mustang's solid rear axle suspension is its design. Solid axles are great for straight line acceleration, and when you need to throw a set of drag radials or slicks for maximum traction. However, any imperfection in the road that upsets one side of the car will transmit to the other. When you hit a bump, each wheel doesn't move independently, so as one wheel travels up or down, the opposite wheel will move in the opposite direction. Solid rear axles also handle poorly in sharp turns. When cornering, the weight of the car shifts to the opposite side, resulting in body roll. And when the car is unsettled or thrown off balance, bad things can happen.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
The Mustang's last fatal flaw is its use of an open differential. Some Mustangs have a basic open differential. An open differential directs increased wheel rotation to its outside wheel while churning. When a tire loses traction, an open differential directs power to the wheel with the least amount of resistance. And in the event of a loss of traction while churning, Mustang owners more easily lose control. Essentially, there are no traction control features with this setup. In high power conditions, traction will be at a minimum. It can result in a total loss of control.
Epic fail.
Well guys, those are the 10 deadliest sports cars in 2021. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you like what you see at the channel, subscribe and put post notifications on. You could also follow the channel on Instagram at Modern Muscle YT. I'm Jeff from Modern Muscle, and I'll see ya next time.